My name is Onec, and I come from the planet that you know as Venus. But at one time we were a physical society. Now we reside on the astral dimension. I manifested a physical body in the spiritual city of Retz that resides on the physical as well as on the astral level in 1955 as a child to come into your societies. And I walked to a spaceship with my uncle Odin, who was also manifested a physical body to work as a scientist here. And together we came, and there I resided on Earth for a year in a temple in Tibet that is used by the aliens to adjust to the physical gravity and to the environment here. So when Venus was going through this change into the process of from the physical to a higher dimension, there was a gradual process of change where that they went from the physical to the astral. Their whole societies were transferred there. Their vibrations were changed by their level of consciousness and the way that they thought and the way that they lived their daily lives. The Venusian people knew that this process was taking place and preserved one city, the city of Retz, under a climatic dome on the surface of the physical Venus to give them the ability to come into the physical and work here to raise the consciousness of mankind on Earth. Now Earth is going through similar processes of change where that their consciousness is gradually changing and getting to a higher degree. And if this continues, if we continue with our work and spiritual development here, this process will take place on the physical very much the same way. It's not a dramatic change. It's so gradual and so natural that it's almost...
Mankind has always asked where it came from and where it is going. Scientists of all ages have tried to find the origin of life through physical evidence. They have split matter, studied the microcosm and macrocosm, but even so, they only observed life from a certain perspective, adding rows of parallel interpretations of reality. But they overlooked the most important thing of all, the creator of matter, the spirit that lives in all things, the blueprint and information which forms all matter. They see only subjective partial truths because the objective reality is an indefinable state of existence out of which all conceivable partial truths emerge. They will keep splitting life down to the atom, but will not be able to prove the existence of the spirit. The experiment compares with attempting to capture beams of light. Human beings can never catch up with light unless they themselves become light. The same applies to mankind. It will never be able to prove the existence of spirit, but can only become spiritual itself, a process which the initiated call metamorphosis. Until then, even the most splendid achievements and inventions, as well as attempts at explanations of mankind, are an unconscious dream of being still asleep within the development of humanity.
All of the original races on Earth came from other planets that are the older planets in your physical solar system, which is Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. Venus, the home of the white race, Saturn, the home of the red race, Mars, the yellow, and Jupiter, the black. They brought colonies to Earth when it was a younger planet, just developing, and only had plant and animal life, and set up these colonies, as you know, Atlantis, Lemura, Aztecs, Egyptians, as a few of the societies here. And on all of the dimensions above the physical, the parallel dimensions that run, the astral, mental, causal, etheric, and soul planes, there are vast universes that exist that are parallel to the physical universe. There are, in other words, there are astral dimensions that are duplicate of places here on Earth, just as there are on Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter. In other words, on all the different dimensions above the physical, these societies and these planets and the whole solar system and everything that exists in the physical is duplicated on the higher dimensions until you get into the planes of our dimensions of existence where there is no reference to the physical. And this is a crossover called the etheric plane. And when you cross the etheric plane, there you leave behind any association or anything that identifies with the physical.